We're here with Andrew Rappaport, who is running for Calvert County State's Attorney in the June 26, 2018 Republican primary. He's running for an open seat, first time in 12 years that has been the case. Andrew, would you tell the readers of the Chesapeake Today and the viewers of this video why you're running for State's Attorney?
I've been a Calvert resident for the last approximately 19-20 years, and we built, my family and I, my wife and 3 kids, built on family property in Huntingtown. My 3 kids all go to school in Calvert County Public Schools, attend Calvert County Public Schools, and I want to make sure that Calvert stays safe for Calvert County and the residents of Calvert County, not only my kids, but my in-laws and other families throughout Calvert.
Andrew Rappaport is here with us for the Chesapeake Today to explain his candidacy and his campaign for Calvert County State's Attorney in the Republican primary 2018. Andrew, what is the greatest challenge facing a prosecutor right now in Calvert County?
Well, I believe it's the opioid epidemic that we currently are facing. That epidemic we need to address it. It needs to be multifaceted. So we need the enforcement. We need to aggressively prosecute the drug dealers. We also need the treatment aspect, and I think we need the treatment aspect at an earlier intervention at the district court. And really, we also need prevention. And the key to this whole program is going to be the prevention. And prevention would be looking at children and the families of the children and making sure that we address that issue early on. So we can see that if children come from a house that have a family that are broken parents, or they've been abused, sexually, physically, mentally abused, neglected, if they've been witnesses of domestic violence or intimate partner violence, that those are all triggers that say later on that they could or will potentially likely become more susceptible to drug use. So if we can address that early on with domestic violence counseling, mental health counseling, mentorship, those are prevention maintenance that we can get in and make sure that hopefully we prevent future drug use.
Andrew Rappaport is running for Calvert County State's Attorney. Andrew, do you anticipate over the next 4 years any great needs or additions to your staff or resources to conduct the job of prosecutor?
Potentially we will need another lawyer. Currently the sheriff's office just obtained body cameras for each of their sheriff's officers, and they record all that information. That information comes to our office where we review it prior to being sent out in the discovery process. So that has to be reviewed by a lawyer. It's very taxing on our office currently, and they have about 100 body cameras. So those resources, that time, there's a lot of time used to review those and then send them off for discovery to the defense attorney.
Would you have anything else do you anticipate besides that?
I don't believe there would be any other budgetary issues coming up as far as new requests.
Okay. How's the office space for the state's attorney's office?
The district court office space is very contained. It's tight. It has not expanded since, I believe, Judge Riddle, when he was the state's attorney at the time. I was able to obtain additional space in the district court building for additional office space for the district court state's attorney's office. That hopefully will be coming up in the fall of 2018, where that space will actually be accessible to our office.
Okay. Andrew, what's your experience been in the district court as the prosecutor?
So when I first started in 2013, taking over district court, we handle about 90% of all the cases that come through Calvert County State's Attorney's Office. So those cases are run through my division. Along with that, I also handle, since 2007 when Miss Martin brought me over, I handled all the major motor vehicle cases. So that includes homicide by motor vehicle and life-threatening injury by motor vehicle. In fact, since 2007, I've handled 18 homicide by motor vehicle incidents cases, and I've been successful in obtaining convictions on the top charge on each of those cases.
Andrew, what ideas, what changes in the law would you propose to help make DWI enforcement more effective to protect the lives of people on the highways of Maryland?
So a few years ago, we got passed a subsequent offender penalty for major motor vehicle manslaughter cases. And what that did was, if there is a prior DUI or related incident that there was a conviction, the penalty went from 10 years to 15 years. This past legislation, we worked with Governor Hogan's administration to put forward a bill that said a fourth conviction for DUI would become a felony punishable by 10 years. That did not get passed. We're one of only 4 states that does not have a felony DUI bill, but it did not get passed this year. I'm sure we'll try again next year, and hopefully it will get passed.
Andrew Rappaport is running for Calvert County prosecutor, state's attorney in the Republican primary in 2018. Andrew, if elected prosecutor, how will you handle cases of drug dealers charged with selling their customers a batch of heroin or fentanyl that causes their demise in a fatal overdose?
So I believe we need to aggressively prosecute drug dealers. And depending on the facts and circumstances of each case would decide what charges are appropriate. But I think we need to use all the tools in the tool chest, so to speak, to make sure that we're aggressively prosecuting drug dealers and make sure that we have that enforcement aspect to keep Calvert, to keep the drugs out of Calvert as much as possible.
Andrew Rappaport is running for the post of Calvert County State's Attorney in a Republican primary June 26, 2018, and is a current senior prosecutor and head of the District Court Division of the Calvert County State's Attorney's Office. The question: Andrew, as a senior prosecutor, you're called by police agencies in the middle of the night to assist in serious cases. Could you explain some of those and what it is that you do?
Yes. So the police agency contacts me. They call my personal cell phone, obviously. I respond to that scene wherever it may be throughout Calvert County. I respond. I help out with legal questions that they may have, whether they have questions of if we need a search warrant or if we need to Mirandize a person for statements, witness statements, follow-up that needs to be done immediately. So we work as a team, a partnership, to investigate that case. They investigate it. I'm only there for the legal issues that may arise. My vision is I want to be able to see the scene, be able to process that for myself, because 6 months down the road when the case comes to trial and we're in front of a jury, it actually helps me present that case to a jury better, and then we have a better result for the jury and the conviction at the end.
Andrew Rappaport, candidate for state's attorney, Calvert County. How does your experience prepare yourself for the post to be elected state's attorney of Calvert?
So when I went to law school to be a prosecutor. I went to University of Baltimore. In fact, during my last year at University of Baltimore, I did what's called a Rule 16. What that is you can be a prosecutor under a prosecutor, and I did that in Prince George's County to get some information and get experience. When I graduated law school, I accepted a job in St. Mary's County as a prosecutor, and I was a prosecutor down there for approximately 3 years. And when Laura Martin got elected, she got elected in 2007, she contacted me, asked me if I wanted, we worked out that I came over here and was a prosecutor over here, and at the time I had already lived in Calvert. In fact, my wife and I built on family property in Huntingtown. So when I came over here, I handled all the major motor vehicle cases, so the homicides, the vehicular cases, along with some of the crimes of violence. From 2008 to 2013, I had one of the most diverse or the most diverse and one of the highest or the highest caseload in circuit court. In 2013, Judge Saunders, who at the time was a state's attorney, was running district court. She got put up to the bench, and that opportunity presented itself where I then took over as district court. In district court, we handle approximately 90% of all cases that come through Calvert County. So I run that unit. I do everything. I'm in court with prosecutors. I train prosecutors. I run a full-time staff. We have 2 full-time prosecutors plus myself, so 3 full-time prosecutors, plus 6 prosecutors from circuit court that come through on a rotation basis, 1 or 2 dockets a month. so I run that as well. I handle that, and on top of that, I still handle some crimes of violence and all the major motor vehicle cases. I work with the police. In fact, I was recently endorsed by not only the Calvert County Fraternal Order of Police, but also by the Maryland State Lodge Fraternal Order of Police. And those are the men and women that I work with the most, the police officers who trust my ability to be the next state's attorney.